Hi, my name is Zach Woods, and I feel pickme about being Conan O'Brien's friend.
What?
Yeah.
Do you know what a pick-me girl is?
I don't know.
I just learned. Pick-me girl is someone who is like sort of self-consciously quirky as a way of differentiating themselves from the masses so that people are like, ooh, she's interesting.
Were you familiar with this term, Sona?
I wasn't, but
No.
I know those girls. I
That's
know
me.
a lot of the, okay.
And so you're the in this scenario, you're the pick-me girl.
Yeah, I'm the pick-me girl. I'm gonna feign a kind of casual nonchalance while underneath I'm desperate for your approval and the approval of everybody here.
Well, why did you just lay out your whole strategy ahead of time?
Well, I just want to get it out of the way, and then I'll be coy for the rest of the time together.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You and I, we've got to talk about this right away.
Yes.
First of all, I thoroughly enjoy you so much that I was waiting for you to show up downstairs, which I never do with guests. But I was like a happy puppy waiting for Zach Woods to show up. You're hilarious, very funny fellow, and I always love hanging out with you and riffing with you. So I was there to guide your car into the parking spot.
Yes, and I will say that you described yourself as a happy puppy. The first image of your face I saw was peeking with a kind of predatory glance from behind the stucco.
Yes.
And then I pulled up and you immediately told me you had to cancel because today was not a good day and there would never be a good day.
Yes, I did. Now, listen, you have to understand that's my way of showing someone I love them.
Believe me.
You
You
should have heard my proposal to Liza.
What's the opposite of a pygmy girl?
Listen, I reject you, man.
Yeah.
Did you have a big proposal? I don't know if you're willing to talk about this even, but like when you proposed, did you have like a proposal, or were you just like want to get hitched?
I was sort of, I had a ring in my pocket.
Yeah.
Or is that a ring in your pocket? You know, that kind of thing?
What?
Or do you just have a terrible phallic injury?
Yeah. Is that a ring in your pocket, or do you have a small circular metallic penis with a little nodule that resembles a jewel? That was my proposal.
Can it be both? And will you marry me?
Spend the rest of your life with this small, empty chode.
But with a little diamond nub on it.
No.
Which, I'm serious. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm proud of my little
That's right.
ring penis. No, I did have I had a day I was going to do it, and I had the ring on me. I didn't have an elaborate, some people do things like they tie it to the dog's collar,
Right.
and they call the dog in the room, or they bake it into a souffle. One of my siblings had an incredibly elaborate one that involved meeting up with his fiance, who's lovely, as now my sister-in-law, on like the top of a temple, an Inca's Aztec temple, when he wasn't even supposed to be in country and being there at the same time. But I think he got the wrong temple.
Oh, no.
But he eventually, found her and they figured it out. But anyway, I didn't want it to be too elaborate, so I didn't do one of those.
That makes sense.
And I think maybe this was a mistake, but I handed her the ring and I said, "You win."
Oh, no. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Well, just, big star, top of every woman's list of if only I could. So that was probably the wrong way to go.
Can I tell you something? And that you probably won't like this. Because I know you're self-effacingly saying top of every woman's list. I don't think I've ever had a girlfriend who didn't confess to having had a crush on you.
Oh, no.
Why don't these things never seep back to me?
I think you see what you look for, and my guess is the sexual energy that's flooding in your direction is being blocked out by some sort of color blindness,
And thick sweaters.
Yeah, exactly.
I always buy sweaters that absorb and repel any kind of sexuality coming my way. Well, what's funny, we should talk about this because you and I, we have some similarities. We are both tall, and I think men with gangly, who were gangly in our youth. Would you say that? You were still quite gangly.
Yeah.
I've put on a few, but you're...
No, I've gained weight, but it doesn't, the gangliness is just it's just buried gangliness, but it's still gangly. I mean, Bobby Moynihan, the actor, once described someone's body as looking like a lowercase b, where it's like all thin and gangly up top, but then a little paunch.
Yep.
And I do feel like a lowercase b body these days. I'm gangly. feel like I don't remember. I was thinking about, I can't remember who said this, but someone described someone as being like a praying mantis, where it's just, not a praying mantis, a daddy long legs.
Yeah.
Where there's just this little disc of cerebral energy and then legs.
Yes, that's me.
That's how I feel too.
I've always said I have legs that just go on forever. And then someone said as I was leaving the shop, "Oh, we need a torso on that thing." And someone said, "Well, we don't have a whole torso. Let's just throw half of a torso over there." So they did. And then they said, wouldn't it be funny if there was a giant paper mache head? And they threw that on top. And I went out the door, but I've always been self-conscious. I always try and wear things that break up the fact that my waist is sort of in the middle of my chest. Do you know what I mean?
Cummerbunds even in like non-formal
I
situations.
do. I wear them at pool parties. I wear a formal cummerbund.
I heard this thing once. I was in an acting class, which is a shameful thing to admit, but I was. And they did a scene from Frankenstein where the monster goes back. He's fucked stuff up. He's killed people, whatever.
Right,
he goes back to the doctor's lab and he goes, "Why did you make me?" He goes, I'm so ugly. I don't fit in. Why did you make me? And the doctor says, "I just wanted to see if I could." And the monster's like, "You wanted to see if you could?" And then he goes, "Then you make me another and you make her as ugly and detestable as I am because I need someone to love and I need someone to love me." And I thought, that's so heartbreaking and beautiful. And I told my father that, and he's like, "Oh, I think that's that's a story about kids. Like Frankenstein's made from the pieces of a bunch of old dead people, which is essentially what a kid is, in a genetic way." And and that sort of question of like, why did you bring me here? Hangs over every parent. And when you were talking about being assembled with a paper mache head and legs and no torso, it made me think of the Frankenstein story.
But it's funny, which by the way, I just read for the first time the original Frankenstein, which is nothing like the movies, absolutely nothing like the movies, and really powerful, but very, very different, not what you'd think. Anyway, I'm just going to throw that out there, and I want to remind people, you should read. Reading's important. The more you know. That was a little starburst going by. I used to have a TV show where we could make the starburst go by, and now I'm like...